Hey, Mr Abbott, good to see you. You got your wish. September 7's the election campaign. What are the issues that you're going to fight this campaign on?
Well, essentially, Kochie, it's positive plans from the coalition versus more of the same from Labor. But obviously, the big issues, as always, are economic strength and national security. And we saw from the government last week, the budget is deteriorating to the tune of $3 billion a week. Debt is surging towards $400 billion. Unemployment is marching towards 800,000. This is a government that's got the budget essentially out of control and that can't be trusted with economic management. And we know that despite all of Mr Rudd's recent tough talk, the boats are still coming. We've had something like 1,600 illegal arrivals by boat since he announced his PNG so-called solution, and less than 100 have gone there.
If the economy's so bad, why has every major international credit rating agency got us with a AAA credit rating, one of the few countries in the world?
It's because we started strong, not because we've managed well. Mr Rudd inherited a world champion economy. It's the reforms of previous governments, not the spending spree of the current one, which is responsible for those ratings.
Will you get rid of the carbon tax and the mining tax, as you promised?
Of course we will, Mel. The first act of an incoming coalition government will be to instruct the public servants to prepare the carbon tax repeal legislation, and the first bill that a new parliament will handle, should we win the election, is the carbon tax repeal legislation. The mining tax will go as well.
Will you get rid of the bank levy and the cigarette tax?
Well, we'll consider the 3 new taxes that the government announced last Friday in due course. We're not going to go ahead, of course, with the latest slug on the car industry, but we'll consider the other 2 in due course.
So
my point, though, Kochie, well, my point, Kochie, is that if the government hits you with 3 new taxes before the election, what do you think they'll do afterwards?
Okay, so how do you get the budget back into surplus without putting up taxes?
By sensible expenditure restraint, and in my budget reply, I announced some $15 billion worth of sensible savings that will enable us to abolish the carbon tax but keep the carbon tax compensation. So those tax cuts and benefit increases that people got in July last year will be real. They won't just be compensation.
Debates. I just want to play you a grab from Kevin Rudd as of yesterday on this topic.
I go back to the simple proposition of why Mr Abbott, up until now, I've been in this job for 5 weeks now, has refused time after time to engage in a public debate with me. Mr Abbott, you can run, but you can't hide.
So the election has now been called. Will you debate Kevin Rudd?
Yes, of course I will, Mel. And Brian Loughnane wrote to the Labor Party secretary last night. I imagine that the first debate will be at the Press Club next Sunday, and I'm proposing 2 further debates, both of which will involve talking to the people. But certainly I'm looking forward to these debates.
Can we offer up a Sunrise set? Do you want to do it here?
Well, look...
It's live?
I'm here. Kevin Rudd used to come on to Sunrise quite regularly. Let's see what he does in the days ahead.
OK, so if you're keen if we can get him across the line to do it?
One thing we're not going to do, though, Mel, is turn this into an American-style election campaign. It's not all about Kevin. It's not all about me.
Yeah.
It's about teams and it's about the public. And what I want to do in this campaign is engage with the public. I want my team to be engaging with the public, I think Mr Rudd does tend to think that it's all about him. That's one of the reasons why he's constantly demanding a debate.
OK, but I suppose that the general public says that, yes, you want to campaign with the public, you want to look them square in the eyes, but they're so managed these days that they're almost stage managed to the point where it becomes a reality show. We don't actually get to see the real you.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, Kochie. I did a street walk in Chinatown yesterday, and I don't think anyone who was listening to the chorus from the pub as I was walking past would think that that was all stage managed.
The positive and the negative is something that's come out particularly in this campaign already, but it's something that we've talked about a lot and our viewers have mentioned it. How do we make sure that it doesn't become a mudslinging competition? I mean, you both say that you won't go down that path, but where's the line in the sand?
Well, it's interesting that much of Mr Rudd's statement yesterday was an attack on the opposition. As far as I'm concerned, I will be pointing out where this government has failed, but the public, the Australian people, they want a better future, they want a stronger Australia, and that's the choice I'm offering them, a stronger Australia and a better future.
Just on the asylum seeker issue, there's a lot of criticism saying you're both in a race to cruelty, to see who takes a harder line. In all reality, you can't stop the boats overnight, can you?
But we can make a difference from day one, Kochie, and that's why after I've spoken to the public servants about the carbon tax repeal legislation, I'll be talking to the defence chiefs about new instructions to our naval forces in the waters to our north. We have to be prepared to turn boats around where it's safe to do so. On its own, that's not going to stop them, but certainly it's a very important component in what has got to be a multifaceted response to a very serious problem which Mr Rudd created. You
will tell our naval boats to just throw a line to these asylum seeker boats and say, here you go, we're going to tow you all back to Indonesia?
Well, it won't be as simple as that, but it's been done before and it can be done in the future. And you've had
It's been done
various... before? It has been done before. It was done before in 2001 and 2002. We've had Admiral Ritchie, retired Admiral Ritchie, tell us that it can be done. We've got General Molan telling us that it can be done.
And if the Indonesians have a boat
telling
the
us
other
that it can be
side
done.
saying, no way, what do you do then?
Well, I'm not saying that it's easy, but, you know, our Navy intercepts pirate vessels in the Persian Gulf. The US Coast Guard turns around boats between America and Cuba. It's standard naval practice to intercept and turn around boats on the high seas, and our Navy is a good Navy. It's a professional Navy. What they've done in the past, they can do again.
Well, Tony Abbott, thank you for your time. I know we'll be speaking to you a lot over the next 5 weeks. We'll also be speaking to Kevin Rudd, of course, in all fairness. So thank you for your time this morning.
Well, Mel, lovely to be with you.